freaking orb come out of your body. This was a heavy one. I feel like there's something behind me just because I'm getting paranoid now. All right, since it is damn near Halloween, I'm probably going to be uploading this the day before Halloween, so I'm probably a little bit late on it. Still pregnant as fuck, still can't breathe. So disclaimer, I can't fucking talk a lot without breathing like... So just disregard the breathing. I could hold my breath, but I'd probably die. I don't know if that's what we want here or not. I certainly don't want to die, so I'm gonna breathe. Okay, thank you. I swear to God, I don't use drugs. It's like this involuntary laugh syndrome. I know that a lot of people that are senior citizens or elders start to get it.
I don't have control.
I don't know if it can happen to younger people. Anyways, today's video is going to be about like my ghost stories. So if you are a non-believer, you don't have to watch this, obviously. I just smashed my finger really hard. Okay, so like I said, I'm gonna be sharing my ghost stories, and I'm gonna try to talk through them pretty quick because there's so many, and I didn't really like prep for this video. I'm just gonna kind of like wing it, you know, because I like to include little background details. I do believe in ghosts. I do believe in reincarnation, the whole afterlife, spirit. I believe in all of that. I believe in reoccurring energy. Like if someone had enough energy here while they were alive, that energy can still be dispersed. I really believe in all of that. I know that there's a lot of people who are non-believers and have never had encounters, and I really do feel like it only happens to certain people, and a part of me feels like it kind of only happens to people that are open. Like if you open yourself up, my baby is kicking like crazy. If you open yourself up to the spiritual world, it's gonna open itself up to you. If you've had some sort of experience or you believe in ghosts, please comment down below because I love reading stories like that. I love reading encounters. I think they are awesome. I'm not too big on like the demonic scary ones, but please don't mess up my tripod. It broke apart into a million pieces last week, Stormy, and I had to rig it up. So please, no one wants to see your butthole. Thank you. Gosh, where we were so rudely interrupted. Please share your stories. I think they're awesome. I love to hear about them, except the demonic side. I don't really care about that kind of shit, and I think that you need to seek assistance. Like before it even happened, because it only happened because you were on some weird shit. So my first experience, I can remember being about 4 years old and living in, I don't know what, Stormicia. Her name is not Stormicia, it's just Storm, but she's freaking, come on, you freakazoid. This is her. Say hi to the camera since you're so...
God damn it.
I think she's in heat. Yeah, she's in heat for sure.
Bob Barker reminding you, help control the pet population. Have your pets spayed or neutered. Goodbye, everybody.
I was 4 years old. I don't know what year the house that we lived in was built, but it was kind of run down. We lived in the hood, and the whole neighborhood was all cracked out. It was awesome. I loved that time of my life. It was amazing. Anyways, the house, I remember having really vivid dreams in that house. And I know because being a kid, you're going to have more animated dreams. Everything is going to sound different, taste different, feel different because it's so new and exciting. But my dreams were extremely vivid, and they always seem to kind of have truth behind them. I also had a lot of reoccurring dreams, just really weird dreams that I can still remember, and I have this one reoccurring dream that I still have till this day, and I can just play it like a fucking movie, And the trippiest part is that it's actually being played on like one of those old ass video cameras that you crank. I don't even know if that's real. It might not be. I'm confused. But I remembered like turning it and hearing the film like, that's probably not how it sounds, but I tried. I can hear that, and I can stop it at any point. So it's somewhat of a lucid dream where I'm awake and I'm able to control it. I don't think that's really spiritual, but being able to come out of yourself and have a lucid dream, it all kind of connects into this little world. But I noticed I started having that at around 4 years old. I remember seeing my baby doll fucking moving. It might have been a rough night. I could have been like out of it for some reason. I don't know. But I remember seeing my baby doll like move its arm before I was going to school one morning, and I like stopped and looked at it and I was like, you tricky little doll. Like, I knew you were alive. This was before Toy Story came out. So I wasn't like tripping out, but I was tripping out. Like, but still, it was fucking weird. It was so weird. But it didn't scare me. And looking back, you know, now that I'm an adult and looking at that and not being scared when your baby doll is waving bye to you before you go to school, I just thought it was normal. I was just like, what's up? Like, I'll catch you later, homegirl. Like, you know, it didn't bother me. It wasn't scary at all whatsoever. There was another time that I had like a really weird surge, a really weird surge of energy just rush over me. I don't really know what that was about, but I could fucking feel the energy, and I could feel something kind of like, you know, like, it felt like something was kind of like entering my presence or my aura a little closer than what I would have wanted or have been okay with. The energy was so strong, I started to cry. And then it kind of changed after that. Like, it wasn't any more of like these just weird feelings or dreams. It kind of was a little bit more than that, where I was hearing stuff, and you know, I wasn't a schizophrenic child, so don't fucking say that. It sounds crazy spinking. Think about sphincter because my fucking cat's asshole on the camera earlier. God. So the older I got, the more I started to like see and hear and feel. The whole feeling is kind of something that still trips me out because I hate getting sensations of cold. I hate getting just that hair standing up kind of feeling. You can really feel a difference in the energy that's surrounding your body. Those are the ones that make me uncomfortable. I don't really know anything about this or like why it happens, so people might know and you can let me know because I'd really appreciate it. But I don't know why I get those kinds of feelings. I don't like the energy ones. I'm also an empath. I also have anxiety. This is a completely different feeling. Like, I can tell and differentiate between, oh, I'm getting ready to have a panic attack versus this is a fucking ghost. It's trying to creep
Into my booty hole.
What's up with me and booty holes today? Just, you know what? Okay, I'm back, and I'm gonna be normal now, you know? When I was 12, we moved into another house. It was a regular, probably built in the 70s, a normal ranch-style house in another city. Loved that house. It had awesome energy. I didn't ever have any sort of weird feelings there. But shit changed, and I started to get weird feelings there. We lived right behind to the side of the BART tracks in the BART station. So when the BART would go by, you'd get like the loud movement of the BART, and you could hear it, and you could feel it, but it was never hard or powerful. There was one morning that my brother and my mom and I were all getting ready, you know, work and school and stuff. And I was washing my face, and I got that feeling like something is on your back. You know, not like a bug, but just this high static or this high electricity was just on my back. And, you know, at this point I'm like fucking washing, trying to get the soap off, like freaking out. And then I fucking turn around, I get the soap off, I didn't dry anything off. I turn around, and there's like this little ass old lady right there, just right behind me. Clear as day. Clear as day. Ugh, I get the chills thinking about it because I'm like, who the fuck were you? You know, at first I thought maybe it was my dad's mom, but I had never seen pictures of her at that point. Later I ended up seeing pictures of her, and this was not her. She passed away when she was 35. I don't think that spirits keep aging once they die. This was an older woman, like 75, 85 range, about my height. And the creepiest thing is that I felt she looked like me. So it felt like myself, looking at myself in disappointment. She looked really disgusted, and that was the energy that she brought to me, was just this grossed out, disgusted feeling. And that I felt kind of sick, and I remember screaming to my mom, or maybe I just screamed in general, but my mom and brother ran in. She just disappeared, just poof. And it was kind of like this whole setback. Like, I remember mentally thinking that when I was washing my face and turning around, it kind of took me back to that place of before I even went to wash or lather the soap on my face with water. You know, it kind of like coming out of it was just like, shit, did I even wash my face yet? But I did, because there was soap and I burned the fuck out of my eyes. But that's where it took me. Like, it kind of was like that, the exiting of that spirit just erased my time frame, or like my judgment of time. Really strange, and kind of hard to explain, but if you get what I'm saying, you'll see it was like kind of weird. It was actually really weird. And the energy she brought was a heavy, uncomfortable energy, high static, and heavy. I didn't like it at all whatsoever. And once that happened, it was like a door had opened up, and I really hate to say that because I don't like the idea of the door or the box. Next experience was in that same house, and it was just me and a friend. My dad was gone, my mom wasn't living there anymore, and my brother was out. We're hanging out in my bedroom, and we used to keep our garage open all the time, so I mean, anybody could just come in whenever they wanted. No one ever did. I mean, sometimes they did, but like, you know, it was okay to do that. And we were used to people coming in and out of the house, so I didn't think much of it when I had heard what sounded like somebody came through the garage, but it sounded like the garage door was shut and they ran into it. So I was like, what the hell? Like, this nigga crashed. Like, thought somebody crashed into the garage door. Didn't care to get up. Didn't want to go look. It wasn't for me. Like, whatever. And the next thing I know are the hallway walls shaking. It felt like the whole house. I mentioned the Bart earlier because of this. You could hear the Bart. You could kind of feel like the vibration in the ground, but never enough to where your house is shaking or the walls are shaking. But this had that feeling of where, like, my door was closed and you had like a hallway where it's my room, my brother's room, you know, 2 other bedrooms, and then a bathroom at the very end of the hall. All the doors, I could hear them shaking. I'm like, shit, that's like an earthquake. It's more than the Bart. But nothing else, nothing was actually shaking. It was just the walls and the doors. And then I got that feeling like, oh my gosh, this really heavy, uncomfortable feeling. Even my friend was like, she looked like she wanted to cry. We weren't even thinking anything ghostly at this point. It was just that energy, that surge came on so quick where I looked at her and her eyes were freaking full of tears. And I was like, what is going on? What is that? And she's like, I don't know. And I was like, look outside, look outside. She's like, no, I don't want to. And I was like, open the door, look outside. Like, I didn't want to look outside either. But she opened the door, she looked out, and I'm sitting on the bed behind her, and I glance out and we see somebody walk into my dad's room. And she slammed the door and locked it. And she's like, oh my God, like broke down in tears, crying so hard. Like in a panic now, but I'm trying to like play it cool. I knew that eventually I was going to have to come out of my room. So we're trying to like play it cool. She wasn't, I was. And then my dad gets home. My dad walks in, he's like, what's going on in here, you guys? And I could hear him come. My mom always hung bells on the door, so if you open the front door, the bells would go off or sound. So I heard the bells, and we're like sitting on my bed freaking out. And we're like, oh my God, like, did you just go into your room? And he's like, no. And I was like, did the house shake? Was there an earthquake? And he's like, no. He probably thought we were high, smoking marijuana. We weren't. That's probably what he thought, but I could tell that he got a little bit nervous himself. Like, he didn't really want to go inside his room when we told him that we had seen somebody. What we had seen go into his room was in a lot of gray. It was like all gray. It wasn't like a mask, it was an actual figure or person, but it looked like their skin, their hair, their clothes were all the same shade of gray. I do remember seeing that. And then it seemed kind of dark around, like their aura maybe had been black, because they seemed like they were in a shadow, even though there was no shadow or darkness there. It was like midday. But he ended up going in his room. He's like, there's nothing in here. the TV in my brother's room would turn on and the volume would turn up. So it would start off, you could hear the TV, you know, people would start talking in there because the TV is coming on, and then slowly the volume would go all the way up. And then we thought maybe there was a timer on it, so we checked that the timer was off. We could never really explain that one. It was just something that happened maybe for like 3 weeks daily, and it was at various times. It didn't happen at the same time every day. But because I never saw anything with that, it was kind of like if you're in doubt, throw it out idea. So I never really held on to that one or did anything to like validate it. It just happened, and it was just like, fuck it, like whatever. It could be like a power surge or the TV shorting out, but the TV never did it before that time, and it never happened after that time. So by this point, I knew that I was open to spirits, and I knew that I had more experiences than the typical person. And I always kind of wondered, is this a gift? Is it a curse? Like, did I do something wrong to deserve this? But I knew that I was open to it. And I feel like when you're open to it, you kind of look for it a little bit more. And that's where it can get kind of sketchy, where it's like, okay, well, were you looking for something? Is your brain playing tricks on you because you're overthinking it? Or did this actually happen? Does it have to go straight to spiritual? Could it, you know, go through some other sort of logical, like science explanation beforehand? But I try not to, like I mentioned, that whole if you're in doubt, throw it out. Not everything to me I'm going to pan off as, oh, that was a ghost, because it's not. Like, unless if it comes along with a few different feelings, or I can actually see something or clearly hear it, I'm not going to pay any attention to it. There's like a ton of other experiences in between these, but just because I said I'm going to do this off the top of my head, there's another story. Oh my gosh, this baby is pushing so hard. His little butt up in my ribs. This one was, it's giving me chills, and I'm probably going to tear up while mentioning this story. This was a heavy one. And I feel like there's something behind me just because I'm getting paranoid now. Okay. So this one was really late or early. I was probably like 2 or 3 in the morning, and I was sleeping over at his house. His parents had left to go to a party in Oakland, and you know, I wasn't really comfortable being there yet. It was kind of like in the beginning when I was first able to sleep over, so you kind of want to stay in the room, and you're like nervous to go out. You don't want to go to the kitchen by yourself or anything. To get to the bathroom, you had to come out of his room that was at the end of the hallway, and then down the hall. There were one room on both sides, and his parents' room was there. You had to bend that corner. And then to the left up there was the restroom, and then it opened up to the rest of the house at the end, so like an L shape. He also had family coming from another country there, so, and I felt really uncomfortable with them because I didn't know them at all, and, you know. So I had to go use the restroom, open the bedroom door, started to walk out, and it was dark in the hallway. And when I started to walk out of the room, I almost bumped into a little girl. And she had long black hair, and I thought it was his cousins, because there's 2 little girls, 2 of his younger cousins who just came from El Salvador. And I thought that I was gonna bump into her, and I was like, oh, like, you scared me so bad, I'm sorry, and I'm trying to be quiet. And then she didn't say anything. And I was just like, oh, kind of awkward. But, you know, like, I wasn't sure if they spoke English or not, so I was just like, maybe she didn't understand me. So there's her and another girl in front of her, and they both met the ages of his little cousins, like the height and what I remembered from them, having long black hair, but they were wearing white gowns, and I was like, oh, they're from El Salvador, so maybe they still like to sleep in those like old time like white gowns. I didn't think anything paranormal of it at the time. They were holding something in their hands, and both of their hands were cupped. And they walked extremely, like, motionless. And like I said, I didn't think anything paranormal of this at the time. Until later, looking back, I'm like, what the hell? Like, I wish I would have asked them a question. I wish I would have, like, been like, hey, like, like, you did something, you know? Because I missed out on being able to have a little bit more of a experience, or more of an experience by being like quiet, you know? Kind of disappointing, but maybe for the best. I don't know. They ended up walking inside his parents' room, which was at the end of the corner. Opened the door, walked in, door shut and locked. I'm like, okay, whatever. That's kind of weird because their parents are sleeping in that room, so why are they going to sleep with their tios, you know? I used the bathroom, went back in, like, hey, yeah, your family's back. Everybody's home. I almost bumped into your cousin in the hallway. Hella embarrassing. And he's like, what the hell? That's weird. Like, they said they were going to come back tomorrow. I was like, oh, well, they're back now because your little cousins are here. They went into your mom's room. And he's like, what? That's weird. We didn't think anything of it. The next morning, we get up. We're like, where the heck is everybody? He's like, oh, they probably went to Costco. And then everybody comes in through the garage. His mom goes down the hall and starts yelling at him, like, why are you in my room? My door's locked. I can't get in. And he was like, what the heck? Like, Brooke saw, you know, his little cousins go in there last night. She's like, we weren't even here. We stayed in Oakland. I instantly was like, I want to go home. Like, I feel sick to my stomach hearing that. He didn't put it together that I actually seen them go in the room. He didn't even put it together until like maybe like an hour later after we ate breakfast and stuff, and after he got his ass chewed out by his mom. You know, like, when I was like, don't you think that's weird that I almost bumped into your cousins in the hallway last night and they went in the room and locked the door? And then he was like quiet. He was like, oh God, I didn't even think about that. And I'm like, yeah. And we kind of never talked about it again. That was kind of like the end of it. But just having such a freaking close encounter and something that I could see so clearly, it still trips me out, like, till this day. I ended up moving into another house, which is like an in-law suite on the backside of another house. Just one big room, like a big studio room. And there was once where, I mean, actually there were more, but these were just the only ones that were like big and like right in front of my face. The other ones were just like, okay, I know you're here, but you're not doing shit. Like, it was like calm. It didn't bring any negative energy. I could just feel a presence. I could hear a presence. And it was kind of just like, okay, you're here. Whatever, I don't care. That's cool. We can share the space. Just don't fuck with me or my kids, you know? It was like a few days before this event happened, where my daughter had like a little toilet.
But it looks like a human toilet.
A human toilet? What other kind of toilet would it be? Like a grown-up potty chair. A grown-up potty? It looked like a fucking real toilet, except it was a little tiny miniature toilet. She had that toilet, and one day it flushed. And I was like, that's cool. Like, I actually said it, like, that's cool, you know? Thank you. And then the actual real toilet in the bathroom flushed. And I was like, ooh, like, wow, you're really doing a number in there, aren't you? You know, because there was like the power, like the single flush to where it just lightly flushes, and then the double flush to where it like heavy flushes, the poo-poo. And yeah, they double flushed it, and I was like, you're doing a number in there. And whatever, didn't give a shit. But then the toilet flushed later when the kids were home, and they got kind of scared, and I was like, yo, like, don't fuck with my kids, you know, like, don't scare them, they're kids. Went in the bathroom, like, do not do this shit. Everyone goes to sleep that night. The kids were just, they were really pissing me off this day. So I was so excited when they were finally calming down. It was like bedtime. They like talked and giggled all night. So it was like past bedtime. And they finally started to like quiet down and go to sleep. It's probably like, because there's 3 of them. So probably 2 out of 3 were like fully asleep. So I was like, yes. Put my earphones on, get to typing. I have hella homework to do. I'm writing essays. And I have this sound machine that would hang on the wall. And it just did like different soundscapes. And we had only one on there that we actually liked. The rest were like white noise and thunder. They were all too heavy. We just wanted the light rain sound. I had this feeling come over me like there's something here, and I take my earphones off and I listen for a minute, and I put them back on, and as soon as they were almost back on, I had music playing, I could hear the fucking thing turn. And this is the kind where you have to like turn the channel very lightly, but you had to turn it to get the sound to change. It wasn't like a button, it was like a turn crank. And the fucking music changed to like the heavy ass thunder. And I was like, excuse me. if you wake up these kids, I am gonna be pissed. Like, put it back to the same fucking channel it was just on. And it went back. It went back to Light Ray, and I was like, thank you. Like, I was not fucking around. And then maybe like 10 minutes later, the freaking sound machine flew off the wall. Like, not like flew, but the hardwood floor, so it slid. I don't know how hard it fell, but it was enough to unplug it and get the little sound machine to slide across the floor. And I looked, and the nail that it was hanging on was tilted down. So I didn't really think much of that. The whole changing of the stations, I thought a lot about that, because I actually was like, yo, like, don't fuck with the kids. Like, I just got them to sleep. So that was a little bit, you know, like, I feel like I had more proof on that one. But it falling off the wall, the nail could have turned, but just kind of weird that one after the other. Like, who knows? It could have been like, well, fuck you, Brooke, and bow, and knocked it off. I don't know. I'll never know. Oh, gosh. But, so I feel like that happened during a school week, like weekdays. That weekend, me and my son, I think he was 7 or 6 at the time, probably 7. Everybody's inside because the in-law is connected to the other house in the front. It just has a door. Everybody was inside like the main part of the house. And it's just me, and they're like in the kitchen. So it's just me and my son who are watching TV. He's watching TV, and I'm off to the side at my vanity putting makeup on. And I didn't feel anything, but I hear some lady, and given everybody in the house has a thick ass Hispanic accent, so no one's gonna say hello. You know, it's gonna be like hello, you know, like different sound. But we hear some old ass voice say hello. And then we both instantly look up. Like, I turn back to my son, and he's looking at me like, and then we both look up at the ceiling, because that's where it came from. Like, it came from out of the ceiling. And then I didn't feel anything with it, but it tripped me out. And I was just like, goodbye, like, bye. And then my son was like, that was weird. I was like, yeah, that was really weird, honey, but don't feed off of the energy. Like, just let it go. It's okay. That was hell. Just because he was there, I feel like there's someone there to like back it up. Like, yeah, I saw it, I heard it, like whatever. It's just different when somebody else experiences it also. I thought like, who the fuck is this bitch? Like, are you the same one that was fucking with the kids' music the other night? Because I don't like that. Everybody in that house left on vacation, and my kids would go with their father for a few days. So it would just be me at home. But during this time, it was me and my little sister. And we're at home inside of the in-law, like my portion of the house. We can hear somebody inside the house, like walking in the hallway, like not even trying to lightly step. They're walking hard in the hallway, through the kitchen. They're just in the house. Like, you can hear somebody's in the house. Everyone's gone. Like, everybody's gone. So we were just like, damn, like, whatever. Like, there you go, you know. That was her first time actually kind of believing me when I would tell her that I would hear people or something in the house, because she was always kind of just like, no, I don't believe that. Like, I don't hear anything. And I'm like, dude, when you guys are gone, I hear it all the time. Like, all the time. Like, I'm not afraid of it. You shouldn't be afraid of it either. But after that, once she started to believe with me, shit started to pick up more. And I'll insert a video here. I'm going to be creating a YouTube channel. It's going to be called something really fucking cool. Not like I'm saying that it's going to be called something really fucking cool, but it's going to be called something really fucking cool. I've had like dust particles and stuff like that around me, and I would kind of be like, is that an orb? Like, what is that? But in this video, it doesn't move like a dust particle. It doesn't move like headlights. This is midday, and it like circles around me and comes out of me. And she was recording, and she was just like, yo, like, you had a freaking orb come out of your body. And I was just like, not surprised, like, whatever, like, send it to me, like, I want to see. I could not get that video to play for the longest time, and she took it over Snapchat. It stopped working on her phone, it stopped working on my phone. It would not load for like a year. until I moved out of that house, that freaking video would not load. And that tripped me out. Like, why the fuck isn't it loading? I thought it was hella weird that video just, she took it, it was there, it's saved in the conversations, just wouldn't load. Just would not load. And then one day I went back like, I wonder what happened if that video was ever gonna load. And it was there. And I saw it.